All right, welcome everyone to the first episode of our new Travel Talk with Grant and Marisa podcast.
Yeah, so if you've seen us before, you might have seen us on our vlog, Grant and Marisa, over on YouTube.
Well, this is also on YouTube.
Oh, this is also on YouTube. Welcome to YouTube. I know what we're doing. But yeah, we travel so much and we have more thoughts and opinions on travel, and it's something we talk about all the time. So we thought we'd just kind of expand it. And if you hear that sound in the background, that is our child.
Does not like being crated right now because she was
The child's a dog, to be clear.
Oh, yeah. We haven't caged our living child. No, there is a little dog named Ellie that is...
She's a toddler.
Was being a problem, so she's sleeping in the crate, but now she decides to be a little annoying.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we travel so much, we're like, why not just have like a weekly podcast where we chat about random travel things? Mm-hmm. And so I think the first episode, we thought this would be a good one to do, is to talk about our pet peeves.
Oh boy, do we have some.
We've got some pet peeves. Yeah, like I think some of these will be pretty common pet peeves. Some of them might be a little controversial. So
some of them might just be specific to us.
They might be very specific to us as well. So I think I'll go first.
Sure.
And this is one
Grant, what is your biggest pet peeve?
And this one is going to be controversial. So my pet peeve has to do with seat reclinings on airplanes. I understand that this is a feature of everyone's seat and you're all entitled to recline, right? Like I personally choose to not recline. Very rarely will I recline because I feel like it's such a minimal change that does not improve anything about your flight quality.
Yeah. I'm such a people pleaser. Chronically, that I feel bad for the stranger behind me that I don't know, and so I don't.
I know it's sort of the same too. I don't want I'm more like anxious. I'm like I don't want that person behind me to get mad or whatever. Yeah. So I generally don't, but I am of the frame of mind that me going like a few degrees back is not going to magically make me fall asleep on the plane.
It's not going to improve your quality of life for that.
My back's still going to hurt, my knees are still going to hit things or whatever. So I find it's just a feature that's not really beneficial to anyone. The main thing it does is create a nuisance for the person behind you.
And what's hilarious is the last probably half a dozen flights we've gone on, if not more, what happens?
So we often, obviously, there's two of us, so we have to make that decision on most airplanes, whether we're the middle seat and the window or the middle seat and the aisle.
Because we don't play that gamble that some people do, where they're like, we're gonna
book
the window and the aisle and hope that will dissuade someone from booking in the middle. Because we are both so shy that we don't want to sit next to
I'm like,
have a
God
stranger
forbid someone does sit in the middle, then we both have to sit next to a stranger.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. So we make a sacrifice of which one we like, and 9 times out of 10 we'll do aisle and middle. That way, I get slightly more leg room, and we have the flexibility of getting up whenever we want on the plane. I prefer not being trapped kind of by someone if I need to go to the bathroom or whatever, right? That's a separate thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say probably the last 6 flights we've been on.
Insane.
The only person around us that has reclined has been the person in front of me. And it's not even for an hour. It is literally the moment they sit down.
The moment the plane starts taxiing down the runway.
Yeah, the last flight, the flight attendant actually had to yell at the person for to put it up, we're about to take off, you can't have your seat reclined. Yeah. And then he did it as soon as she basically walked away.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's more just that this is happening to me so often that I'm particularly aggravated by it now.
It's aggravating, Grant, and it's comical to me.
Yeah, because I'll just you won't even be looking at it. I'll just look over to you, pull a face, and then you'll be like, oh, of course.
Albus, no. Sorry, we just got a walk pad under Grant's desk today, and our cat decided he was going to test it out as a scratch pad.
Nope. Hey,
Albus.
Get up.
Now he's loafing on it.
do a podcast. We said it will be easy.
It will be fun, we said, forgetting the fact that we have 3 pets and all of them are their own individual problems.
Yeah. Anyway, so it has just become comical now, the amount of people that do it. And they don't, this is the other part that compounds, is none of these, it's always guys, by the way. It's always like some big dude or whatever that thinks they need the extra inch, like, to recline. But anyway, they aggressively do it. And it's like, boom! It's like they're taking off in a freaking jet, like they're, well, I guess they are. They're in an airplane.
They are taking...
They like aggressively throw this chair back. And to a point, like sometimes I've had like my iPad, I'll often have my iPad on planes.
You've almost lost drinks.
Yeah, like I'll have like the iPad often on the tray table, so it just like sits there with like, I have like a little kickstand for it. And once I get almost, like I literally had to grab it because it was about to crack into like the iPad. Yeah, drinks have been like almost lost. It's essentially just like the compounding all the different things, like doing it too long, too early, or like doing it too aggressively. Yeah. And it's just like, a little bit of courtesy around it if you must do it.
Yeah, just like slow, maybe check like...
Yeah, maybe like look behind, do the little glance to act like you're at least faking interest that I'm not like, eating or doing something, right?
Yeah.
And maybe like, if the flight's only like 2 hours or something, like just don't do it. Yeah, maybe just don't recline for this flight. Like, if...
I feel like a lot of the pet peeves that we have are kind of can fall into 2 buckets. Mm-hmm. And those buckets are people kind of being oblivious to those around them.
Yeah.
And like not reading the room. Mm-hmm. And the other one is, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Marissa, get it together. Oh, my sensory issues. That's the other thing, is like I'm bothered by something for sensory reasons.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably most of the first one. Yeah, the seat reclining thing. Yeah, you can do it, but like maybe you have a little bit more like awareness of the people around you, and if are you going to really impact that person behind you, and think about it. Yeah. Because, I think like there is a world where I think like because like I think some airlines are worse than others too. Some seats recline more than others or are more invasive. So like sometimes you don't notice it that much.
Less.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of airplanes are so small now where it is actually more intrusive for the person behind you than it is comfortable for you, and it's like just like maybe think about other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What's your
mine? So we talked about how often Grant will have the aisle seat and I'll be in the middle, because like I don't mind most of the time. I'm a smaller person. It's fine. That gives Grant the aisle so you can stretch out your legs a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I do then encounter what I think a lot of women encounter in public transit situations of the man spreaders. Which, if you're not familiar, that is something men typically do. They get in their seat, they take the middle armrest, which
that's another one.
If you are in the middle seat, you get the middle.
Both.
You get the armrests.
You are entitled to both armrests.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And they spread their legs into my leg space.
Yeah.
And I am very weird. I don't like being touched.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't like confrontation, and I don't like physical contact with people other than basically Grant. Like, I'm not a hugger. So the idea, because what my brain wants to do is like man spread back and force them.
I think I've told you to do that. I'm like, just do it back.
It's so uncomfortable for me. So yeah, like, gents, be a gent and just don't stay in your own space. Don't do it to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think like
mine was a much more concise
that was
rant
pretty
than
concise.
yours.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's easy. That's an easy one to sort of, I think, just act like your chair is one of like the bulkhead chairs. You know how the bulkhead chairs that you're actually kind of locked in. Yeah. Like, you can't lift them up or whatever, you're kind of in. Like.
Well, what I was going to say is if you've got seats in front of you, that clearly delineates where your feet go.
Yeah, right. It's pretty easy to know.
Don't cross the divide.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think that's Like that'd be annoying for me too.
Yeah.
Like it's just that's a perennial, I think, like middle seat problem in particular. It could happen anywhere.
Yeah,
but
I don't get the
is.
seat recline, but I get the man spreading.
Yeah.
So we all have our challenges.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe we should fly business class more often.
Maybe we should. All right, next one. I know this one we encounter multiple times, depending where we are. Let's talk about the people going through security. And it's clearly like the first time they have ever experienced a security check or been in an airport in their entire life.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where, you know, you're lining up. Thankfully, we've got to miss this a few times, like at least in U.S. airports, because we've got like TSA pre-check and clear.
So we miss 90% of the
which
line,
if you haven't,
which is fabulous.
Sometimes it depends on your home airport, but like for us, like RDU is our home airport, Raleigh-Durham, and there the combo of clear and TSA pre-check is a breeze. Like you skip like everything. It's great. But if you don't, like we've had to line up multiple times in normal, like especially when we're overseas, like obviously pre-check doesn't work there. And yeah, where you're lining up, everyone's sort of, you've figured out, like normally the line's long enough that you can kind of figure out what you need to take out. Like, because every airport can be different. Some airports you have to take, you know, your shoes off, or some airports you have to take your iPad out.
Or your belt off, or your
or your watch, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like most of this is communicated to you pretty effectively, either by like someone like yelling it, or there's screens or signs or whatever.
Like, even if you can't hear, or it's not clear, or the signage is in a language you don't know, like just look ahead to what people are doing.
Yeah.
And that will give you a pretty clear indication.
Yeah, but it seems like the people that are always the problem are the ones that like they're just in their own world.
Yeah.
They have generally got way too many, like they always tend to have like a giant carry-on bag or like a duffel bag or something.
With a laptop at the bottom of it.
Yeah. Like it's not like, for us, like most of our stuff is in dedicated pockets in a backpack. Like, you know, iPads or computers are in the back pocket. You know, there's like things are in spots that are easily accessible, right?
And also, like, you know, if you're going to an airport, generally, I don't think there are many people that are flying like that last minute. Plan your outfit accordingly. Now, I understand there are instances where you might be flying for business and you have to, and you're landing and you're going and doing a presentation, you've got to dress a certain way. I completely understand that. But generally speaking, you know a belt is going to slow you down. You know you're depending on the airport.
If you have to take your shoes off.
If you have to take your shoes off, because I know a lot of European airports, like sneakers are fine, but like any kind of boots you have to take off, or like heels you have to take off.
Yeah.
Just like plan accordingly. Don't wear your like steel-toed work boots to the airport.
Or if it's like winter and you've got a large coat, like, yeah, you obviously needed that, but like, you know, take it off and hold it as you're like in that, you know, 10 minutes that you're in line for, right?
10 to 40 minutes that you're in line, or 2 hours. Yeah. Oh, can I talk about this? So one of the things that kind of drove me nuts when we first started traveling together is like, I want to, like every kind of checkpoint you go through, like we park the car, we get out of the car, I want to go. We go to check in, we drop our bag, I want to go, like run to security. And Grant, after every single checkpoint, needs to take a minute and
make sure I have everything.
Make sure you have everything, get organized, kind of collect yourself, and then we can go to the next thing. And it took me a couple trips to like learn, like, this is what you need to do. Yeah. And so that's what we do. But let me finish my thought before I forget it. So, but I think that's kind of something that more people need to do once they get past check-in, is take a second, be like, okay, where's my ID? What do I have on me that needs to go in my bag? Like empty out my keys, blah, 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 blah. And take that minute to kind of prep for security. So if you are somebody that's like traveling for work and you do have to have like a belt on or whatever, maybe use that, take a minute, get your stuff situated. And that way, when you go through security, it's a little easier. Yeah.
We can go through like the quick version of how I do this. And it's a little like OCD. Like,
but it helps.
Like I essentially like, we'll drive and park the car at the airport, right? We'll get our bags out, get everything out, lock the car. before we then leave, I make sure I get the car keys. I put them in like a pocket in my backpack that I know I will not need again for like 2 weeks.
You say like lights are off, and I have to repeat it back
I
to
literally
you.
go check that the lights are off and like the car's locked, like because otherwise that's a thing, you know. It's like, oh, did I turn the lights off? You know, like that kind of thing that could throw you out. We'll go check in, drop the bags off. As soon as we do that, I then will be like, okay, I don't need some of these things. I don't need my wallet. I don't need my watch. I don't need my belt or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll pre-put it in my like carry-on bag.
And you have like trained me to use that minute to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It
So
took
we'll
a
just,
couple times.
anything we don't need to go through security, just put it in a bag, get it out of the way now. Because there's no point me holding on to that like phone or whatever for the next couple of seconds. I might as well just shove it in the bag and be ready. And then we go through thing. I make sure I've got everything. I make sure everything's back in the bag before we then like proceed the rest of the airport. It like sounds annoying, but it's like it takes like an extra 30 seconds at the end of it or before the next step. And
and it just like saves. So like traveling as much as we do and kind of having this system down, like being inevitably getting stuck in front of that person that has never been in an airport since 1998. It's like, So and you can include this in the podcast. So I had to go outside and bring our dog in because she's a massive problem. And she does a thing where she'll knock to come in and we'll go out to get her and then she'll run away. And she did that. And I'm like chasing her across the yard in my Crocs. And I'm like, Ellie, I'm trying to record a podcast. And I hear our very sweet neighbor on the other side of our fence just like chuckling to himself. Our neighbor hears me say like the dumbest stuff. And it's quite embarrassing. High problem.
But yeah, so that was our next one, which was, you know, slow pokes in the security line that are completely unprepared.
This is Ellie. You're very cute, but you're a massive problem.
All right, what's your next one?
I think this is probably going to be like the second most controversial thing that we talk about. Because we have big feelings about it.
We do. And I think we're very unpopular.
We're contrarian to most people, including most people that travel as much as we do.
Yeah.
Which is...
as we put the dog's leash.
As we put the dog leash away. I set her free. We'll see what happens. So we are checked bag people. Yeah. Fundamentally.
Like maybe there's
for a lot of reasons.
If we maybe if we just go some for the weekend, maybe that's maybe the one.
Yeah,
like,
we
it's
did,
a night or two somewhere we might do.
Yeah, we did carry on when we went to Epic Universe.
Yeah, which was a couple nights.
But for the most part, we check our bags because one, we're flying internationally. Yeah. Two, we want to bring things like hiking boots and like we just want to make sure we have options. Yeah. I think it just makes life easier.
It's too stressful. Like we've literally thought about it, doing it multiple times.
We've tried it and we're like, we don't understand how people do this.
I literally can't fit my sneakers in normal sized like normal size carry-on bags.
More than one pair of shoes, it's just not happening.
Yeah, like they literally didn't even fit. Like they poke up above like the air they can fit in, and if you need to, you know, you're traveling in the winter, you need a coat or something. That's half of the the carry-on suitcase gone.
Or like if we're traveling in winter, we want like big sweaters. Yeah. Or
we don't by any means travel like. We don't pack excessively. Yeah. Like, yes, I'm like.
Could we probably pare down? Yes.
Like, do I probably need like extra things like extra t-shirts and undies and stuff?
Do I bring 27 pairs of underwear? Yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, I do.
And like, I'll often have like a handful more t-shirts than the days because like I get sweaty sometimes and like I want to change halfway through the day.
Looking at you, Japan.
Yeah. So like. We'll often need that kind of stuff, but that's a different issue. This is the pet peeve is. I think you finish what you were saying because you were sort of talking about.
So the pet peeve is carry-ons, but there's a couple like layers to this. Like this is a bit of a Russian doll of a pet peeve. Because one, it's people and I will say some of this I think is on the airlines. I think they've gotten
100%.
a little loosey-goosey with like what they're allowing as a carry-on size. And somehow it's changed from like you have a carry-on and a personal item, and your personal item goes under the seat in front of you, and your carry-on goes into the thing, and now it's all small items, including backpacks, go under the seat in front of you, and roller bags go. And I'm like, wait, no, my purse is my personal item, and my backpack is my carry-on. But now I'm expected to put my backpack under my seat for my 6-hour flight. Like, that sucks.
I refuse. Like, I've never had that issue.
We've
like,
never been told.
We've
like,
never had it, but I would push back on that because it's like, this is my carry-on item.
Yeah.
Me being more efficient in my packing should not mean I am disadvantaged because someone came on with a suitcase and a giant backpack, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so the one is people are bringing on roller bag. Everyone, it seems, and their cousin is bringing a roller bag now.
oh my god, yep.
Half of them seem too big
Oh yeah.
to fit.
Yeah.
The other thing that's kind of weird, and I've noticed this within the last year, is what I call the tote bag girls.
Oh yeah.
Where all of a sudden, again, you were allowed 2 things, and now there's girls that have like a roller bag and then like 3 tote bags.
And the tote bags are sometimes bigger. Like they have like the duffel tote kind of thing, where it's almost bigger than their carry-on.
I can't say the number of times I've seen a tote bag girl trying to wrangle her tote bags and her roller bag, and then the tote bag spills everywhere, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Because like, this is probably showing my age now, but I remember the days when it was like a personal item was only like a purse or maybe a laptop bag.
Or like a small backpack.
Right?
Yes.
It had to be tiny. Like, it had to be minuscule, and then you got one other bag, right? And now it's, like, a purse, a duffel bag, a tote bag, the bag that they just got at the, like, they're like...
Who's buying luggage at the airport? I have questions.
That, and they've got, like, they bought something at the, the convenience store in the airport. Like, they've got millions of things, and then they're always the people that put all their bags up into the overhead space too.
Which brings us to the next part of this nesting doll pet peeve. So we've got really big roller bags, we've got tote bag girls, and then we've got the people that get on the plane, and regardless of where they're sitting, they put their bag in the first available overhead compartment, not the overhead compartment that corresponds to where they're seated.
Yeah, like they're sitting in like 34D and they put their bag in like 8A's section or something. Yeah, that drives me nuts. Because then you get into your seat and the bins are already full and no one's even sitting near you. Like there's no one even there yet. That is the most annoying thing I think you can experience sometimes, right? You get on like early, or you get on like...
Or if you're like running late from a connection and all of a sudden you get on the plane and there's like nowhere to put your stuff.
And then you have to go put your bag somewhere miles away as well. And like, which can be... Like that can be dangerous in some situations too. Like if you have medications and things like that you need to be close to, having your bag like miles away is not ideal.
As someone that now needs to carry medication.
Yeah, and... I think this also, as I said, this is like a nesting doll. This also then turns into the thing of like, and this is not like customers. This is the flight crews openly lying about how much overhead bin space there is when you're boarding. Have you know how we experience this? This is mainly domestic issues, I think.
Yeah.
Where they'll say like, oh, the plane is like, the overhead bins are full. Everyone like needs to check their roller bags or whatever. And then you get in there and the whole thing's empty.
Yeah.
They're just openly lying to try and speed up the process.
Which I don't hate.
Because we never check roller bags, so it doesn't actually impact us. Because it's like, you're not going to check my like backpack. It's like, that's not...
But like just thinking about like how this can affect you in like the worst possible way. Like we were lucky. Recently, I had a seizure on a flight. For more on that full story, go see that video.
Yeah.
Thankfully, well, we checked our bags, which did kind of mess this up a little bit, but it wound up being fine. But like thankfully, my backpack was like right in the overhead compartment that was right by our seats, because I had to have paramedics escort me off the plane, and
Yeah.
the very lovely paramedic Klaus, like, grabbed my backpack. Like, Grant, you got my backpack, I'm assuming, I don't remember, and handed it to him.
Yeah.
But, like, he had my backpack. Like, imagine if it was, like, somewhere else on the plane, like, how much harder that would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like...
Or if you'd had to, like, rental to roller bat. Well,
right,
you did anyways,
exactly.
But.
I did, but yeah, like, I think it's just like... I think as you said, this is like kind of two sides to this of like the airlines have made like, I understand it a little bit if you're flying domestically because like checking a bag is very expensive now. But like international flights, it's free. Like you're throwing money away not checking a bag. And like we travel like what, 6 times a year at least?
Yeah, we travel 5 to 6 times a year
We have,
internationally.
Like, knock on wood, never had an issue losing a bag. And I think this is, we've actually talked about this before. We have a theory that people that arrive to an airport on time, like the normal amount of time, like you're 2 hours or 3 hours before the time they recommend to get to the airport to, and then you are a nice person at check-in.
And you're polite.
You are polite and you don't yell at people. You have a higher chance of your bag not going missing. This is obviously not proven.
Complete speculation.
This is complete speculation, but we have seen things like, obviously things can happen anywhere and anytime, but it seems to be sometimes the people that lose checked-in bags. Anecdotally, maybe they're a little bit of an asshole sometimes, you can tell, just by the way they are at airports and stuff.
Yeah, it's just a vibe. Yeah.
There's another thing too. Take the damn stickers off your suitcase. You know the little barcode?
This was a thing.
You know the little barcodes they put on your suitcase when you're traveling? Take that off, because if they scan that instead of the other one, like that can cause problems, because like barcodes they're doing the tag, right? That's what it's meant to scan. But if you've got all these other barcodes all over your luggage, it's going to cause issues, and it could cause your thing to get thrown like off. So take the stickers off. But
you heard it here, folks.
But yeah, I think the losing luggage thing is way overblown from people in their excuse of why they need to be carry-on only. And I think it just like makes your trip more stressful. Even like travel aside, like outside of the actual airplane travel, when you get there, it's just going to make everything more stressful. You're going to have to do like laundry or something. Like it's going to be just annoying. Like embrace the checked-in bag.
Embrace the check bag. I'm just checking the list because I forgot what we wrote down.
But yeah, also on the side of the airlines, I think airlines should start charging. I think airlines should make checked bags free and charge for carry-on bags. And I think that would solve this problem.
Yeah. Okay, for the next one, because I think we've ranted about carry-on bags long enough. Do we want to talk about an airport behavior or a plane behavior?
So we just talked about, I guess it was kind of both.
Yeah.
Airport behavior.
Gate lice.
Gate lice.
This is such a mean term.
But that's the term.
It's accurate.
Yeah, so...
This is a specifically American problem.
I think it's way worse in the U.S.
It's way worse in the U.S.
And this could also be another nesting one from the last one, where people are so paranoid about getting their gigantic suitcase in the overhead bins that they're lining up excessively early or like ahead of their boarding group. I think that's why a lot of people are worried about it, right? We're never worried about it. We have a backpack with us.
I want to be on that plane as little amount of time as possible.
So we just chill out. We're just sitting down. We'll sit until our number's called, or we'll be in a lounge or something. Yeah. We have there is no benefit to getting on the plane early. I'm not quite sure why that is a perk people pay for. Like, I'm not sure. I would pay a premium to get off the plane first.
Oh my gosh, yes. Which is another pet peeve I need to talk about after this.
Okay. But yeah, side note, airlines, if you're watching this, start charging us to get off the plane first and not on the plane first.
You know what gets you off the plane first?
Yeah.
Having a seizure.
That worked really well, but I would not recommend it.
You're welcome.
We have to laugh about it.
If we don't laugh, we'll cry.
But yeah, it's got to the point where it's like excessive, where people line up, and there is no, like, there's actually no advantage to lining up, because they call groups your group number.
Wait for your group number.
If you're lined up at the gate and they call my group number and it's not your group number, I'm going to walk right in front of you. I don't care that you're in a line.
No, Grant.
There is no queue system at an airport that has boarding groups, unless the people in your boarding group. That's it.
Yeah. Grant is in all situations, very much a line stickler, and he will shove you out of the way.
Yeah, I don't like people cutting line.
No.
But if there is
you will pick fights.
If there is not a line or it's not a structured queue set up by someone in authority, there is no reason to follow it.
You sound so British. You're not British, but you sound very British.
I have read the Wimbledon Guide to Queuing. That is an actual thing, folks. If you go to Wimbledon, this is very off topic.
You're so off topic.
But yeah, if you go and there is if you didn't buy if you just buy the open walk around tickets to Wimbledon, you have to line up for 5 hours out in a field to get into Wimbledon, and they give you a little pamphlet. It was hilarious.
It's the most British thing ever.
I actually shared a picture of that when we were
one of the first
talking.
Things you ever showed me was your guide to queuing.
But anyway, yeah, if there's
you take lines very seriously.
Yeah, and it's if some random person started a queue and it's not a real queue, I'm not gonna honor that system. But it's if this is a proper queue, yes, everyone needs to be in it. There's no cutting, no exceptions. But yeah, the excessive queuing, in particular by Americans in American airports, is quite comical because it's essentially pointless.
Because we will sit there until our boarding group is called, and then Grant will just walk in front of all of them, and then I'm holding his hand please no one yell at us, please no one yell at us.
Because I'm not gonna line up behind you that's in group 7 and I'm in group 4. Why I'm not going to honor your stupid line just because you stood there.
Okay, so sort of the other side of this coin.
Getting off the plane?
Deplaning etiquette.
Yeah, okay.
Folks, there is an etiquette to deplaning, which is we get off in seats and aisle order.
Yeah, unless you're watching this in 5 years' time and someone took my great idea of paying for deplaning first, then maybe
or you legitimately are trying to make a connection and it's tight and you're I got a plane, I will let you go.
Yes.
You
need to
But you need to say it.
Yeah, if you have a tight connection, that happens to a lot of us, you need to get off that plane quickly, I would say don't
just shove past people.
Don't be a jerk and just push in front of everyone. Actually, say to someone, excuse me, everyone, do you mind if I go in front of you? Or ask a flight attendant ahead of time saying hey, because we've actually seen flight attendants be hey, there's multiple people that have tight connections.
Everybody sit. We're going to get them first.
Let's get them off. Yeah, if you be nice about it, most things, you can probably...
Especially as fellow travelers, we'll be really understanding of that.
Yeah, because I could be I don't care. I've got a 4-hour layover right now.
We're just going to go hang in a lounge.
Yeah, so I'm in no hurry to get off this plane. Yes, I want to get off it, but you're in a bigger hurry than me. That's fine. But if that is not the case, you're just going to the same baggage carousel as us or whatever as we're getting off, just wait your turn, let other people get off in front of you, unless they indicate to you to go in front of them. Someone acknowledges they're slow, or they're hey, I've got kids, they're going to take a minute.
There's nuance to it. But just don't shove past people and be a jerk about it. Mm-hmm. That is honestly what a lot of this comes down to, is don't be a jerk.
Yeah, 99% of our pet peeves are the fact that people are jerks a lot of the time, which sucks. Or Grant, insert the clip of IT Crowd. That is one of my life mottos.
You have it on your laptop.
It's literally on my laptop here. People, what a bunch of bastards. That is one of my life mottos. But have you
met all of them?
Yeah, most of them.
You've met enough.
I've met enough. All right. What else is on our list? So we did that one. We don't have to do all of them.
No,
we did create quite an extensive one. Let's vary it for a second.
Okay.
Outside of airports and air travel.
Okay.
Let's do one that has popped up fairly recently in our travels.
Oh my God.
In hotels.
Before we do this, can I get another drink?
Yes.
How's your drink?
It is okay.
Okay.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
We're back. What drink do you have?
My classic Kirkland seltzer.
Okay.
It's
I am repping the beautiful state of North Carolina, which is where we live. I've got an Highland Brewing, Asheville, AVL, IPA, local brewery to North Carolina.
They're good breweries.
Amazing brewery, pioneer of North Carolina craft brew culture, woman-owned brewery. They're amazing. If you come to North Carolina, you should check them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were we talking about? Hotel. Oh, yes.
Hotels.
So this
We love
is a.
hotels.
I would say this is a predominantly like, bigger brand hotel chain change. So think your Marriott's, your Hilton's, your Hyatt's, not like smaller ones, not more upscale ones, but like actually can also be upscale ones actually.
I was just trying to place what you were talking about, but yes, continue.
Bathrooms.
No, I know where you're going with it.
Yeah. So this has been in a variety of places, but it's never been really a trend of like, oh, it's only in a certain country or, oh, it's only in this one chain or whatever.
It's a worldwide, brand-wide phenomenon.
We're talking about bathrooms in hotel rooms. And the trend is not even consistent in the weirdness of them, right? There is a growing trend of no privacy bathrooms.
Where you want the most privacy.
Yeah. So whether that is
I'll just let her go. Hold that thought, Grant. I'm back.
All right, Marissa is back with a cat.
This is Albus.
This is Albus. So yeah, there's a growing trend of this no privacy bathrooms. So I think the first instances of this starting to roll out were the barn door style bathroom, right? I think this was how they initially started rolling this out.
Yeah.
A bathroom with this sliding barn door that has like a giant gap at the bottom, giant gaps at the side, no seal whatsoever.
There's no
right?
soundproofing.
So it just
in this
started.
situation.
It just started as a sound thing where it's like
oh, I can hear everything you're doing.
everything. Yeah, so it's like when you need to use the bathroom, everyone else in the hotel room can hear it, right?
Just put some headphones on.
So it wasn't the worst issue, but then it started to roll out some of the really fancy hotels we've been to. Sometimes it's not necessarily the toilet, but sometimes you'll have the bathtub in the middle of the hotel room.
Yeah.
Or the shower in the middle of the hotel. We went to a Sandals and the shower was literally in the middle of the room. And there's no curtain, no stained glass, nothing. It's just right in the middle and you see everything. And because it's not sealed, the entire room fogged up when you had a shower and the floor was marble. So
it got very slippery.
It got so you would have a shower and then you would almost slip on the floor.
Your other option was to keep the room at 60 degrees.
You had to have it a freezer in there, or the room would become moist.
And here's my thing: I get at a Sandals specifically,
it's sexy.
They want
whatever,
it, but a shower is not always sexy.
No, it's not always sexy. Sometimes you just need to clean yourself.
Yeah.
And you want a little bit of privacy sometimes. Yeah.
Why did my voice get so high?
I don't
My
know.
gosh.
That was interesting. But no, I think we can look past a Sandals. That's they're but that trend has then passed to normal hotel rooms now.
Not even, what the other kind of not normal hotel room, but in this milieu comes to mind is a room I really loved was our room, villa, hut, whatever you want to call it, at Leopard Sands, where, again, the soaking tub is in the middle of the room because you're supposed to be able to open the doors and look at the
that makes sense.
hippos and elephants out in the river.
Yeah.
Got it. Understand. Super cool. But also the shower was tile on two sides, a pane of frosted glass, and then just open.
Yeah, there wasn't even a curtain.
There wasn't a curtain. There wasn't a door.
Water would get in the room and stuff.
It's what is happening?
It's shower, because I think also often these showers that are fully open like that then also have it's not a straight waterfall down. Sometimes they'll have ones that go like this, so the water just goes
water everywhere.
And it's why? Who designed this?
Why are we doing this?
But then it seems to have now migrated to even further where there's
escalated.
We saw a picture. If I find, I'll try and find this picture. I saw it on Reddit the other day, and it was a room where the bathroom was literally glass. The whole bathroom was glass. It was frosted. apart from like a gap at the bottom, which was just normal glass, like this much at the bottom. But then the kicker to this, the toilet was right next to the glass, so you could see the entire toilet. So you could literally see someone on the toilet. Like, why? Who thought of this? And why was it approved?
This is a good idea.
Like,
well, we figured out. Well, the article talked about why.
So there's a theory why.
The theory is for business travelers, if you have a bathroom that's not private, it's going to force business travelers to book one room per person because obviously no one wants to be that close with their coworkers.
Yeah.
And if you are, well, that's a separate HR conversation.
Yeah, it's a money making.
Yeah,
change.
but like for us, where we travel all the time, and I love you.
Yeah.
But I don't need that much.
And there was actually a recent example of, it wasn't like, it was a private bathroom, but the other example is sometimes they'll place a bathroom right next to the bed. And this was the problem in the Scandic in Copenhagen.
It had the glass barn door.
There was a glass barn door, so that's a problem in and of by itself, right?
Literally this far from the bed.
It was no joke this far. And so thankfully this room was an upgraded room, so it was like, it had like a lounge room, like it was a suite, and we just kind of had to give each other the heads up of like, hey, I gotta go do number 2.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Can you go into the other room?
And put headphones on?
Because otherwise it's like literally right next to the bed, and it's like, that's not, no one needs that. Like, who wants that?
Yep.
No one. So, yeah, so that's just to mix it up a bit outside of the
like
airport, air
hating
travel, like people thing. This is a design issue of recent like hotels.
Yeah. What else is on our list? My goodness. Okay, do you want like another non-people but like
Sure.
corporate thing?
Sure.
Let's talk about check-in.
Okay.
Check-in not starting till 3 hours before your flight.
Oh, like the airport check-in. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant hotel check-ins.
That's also something.
That's another pet peeve. I just, preference, I would love to be able to do early check-ins more.
9 a.m. check-in, let's go, baby.
Yeah. Give me the option of early checkout and early check-in. That's what I want.
Yeah. Because like the most annoying thing is, I guess we're talking about check-in times now.
Yeah.
For hotels.
Sure.
Because the most annoying thing is when you, specifically transatlantic flights from the US to Europe, you get there, if you've never flown to Europe and you're in the US, you fly generally at night, you get there in the morning.
Yeah.
And then check-in's not till 3 or 4. So you have to drop your bags. You want nothing more than a shower.
Right.
Don't nap. Don't do it. But you want a shower.
You want a shower and put your bags away.
And put your stuff away and change your clothes. And like, no, you have to drop your bag in their luggage room or find a place and pay to store your luggage and then wander around for 6 hours until your check-in time.
Yeah.
And I would honestly, and we
Even
have
if it's
paid.
Yeah, I think it needs to be more.
We have paid a premium to like check in early.
I understand there's times like the general rule of thumb is, check out at 11, check in at 3, because that's like 4 hours for the maid.
The staff has to flip the clean rooms. And having been a maid, like, yes, that is very hard to do.
There's gonna be situations where people check out early and rooms are ready. And instead of it being this like roulette wheel of being like, oh, your room is ready early, congratulations, why not like either tell us ahead of time.
I wish I had like glitter I could just
tell us ahead of time. Be like, hey, like, send me a text or something to be like, hey, your room's ready early. Or let me buy it. Like, let me spend $50 to check in early. I would pay it.
Yeah, we will pay I would pay like at least $100. So
depending on the time.
The hotel.
Yeah, if it's a situation where we arrive at like 6 a.m. or something.
Like even 9 a.m.
Yeah, like if it's we're there at midday and we only have to wait 3 hours or something, whatever.
Fine. But if we're there like in the morning,
it's
gosh,
it's worth buying.
Charge us, we'll pay it.
Yeah, but anyway, we can go to the other one, the check-in times for checking luggage and like check-in desks.
Yeah,
we've had.
Instances.
Yeah, most times we travel, this isn't an issue. Like we're notoriously early worms when early worms Early
For
birds.
early birds.
Early birds.
Because early birds get the worm.
Like a lot of the time we will kind of be like maybe our flight is like later in the day and we're just sitting around doing nothing. Well, let's just go to the airport.
And hang out.
Yeah, let's just go hang out at the airport. We're already excited. We're literally doing nothing except waiting to leave for the airport. So we want to go early, and like thankfully our airport's pretty good with that, unless we fly like Iceland Air, which doesn't open in 3 hours.
And our airport, even if we don't have lounge access, is nice enough. Like there's several restaurants, there's several bars, like we can just like hang out, and it's not super busy.
So we'll often get to the airport. Sometimes we've been there like 5 hours early sometimes.
We're weird.
But that's not the issue. Like, I think the issue here is sometimes you have connections, right?
Yeah.
And you have to change terminals. And if you're outside of that window, you get kind of stranded. We had the worst example of this in South Africa, in Johannesburg.
That wasn't even a connection. Oh yeah.
It was a long connection.
Oh yeah, it was.
So we had to fly like this little like plane from Skukuza to Johannesburg. And no other option. We had to wait, I think it was 6 hours.
And there's one flight. Like there's no
the only
other
flight.
way
So
to do
anyone that was in Kruger National Park was taking the same flight out and going to Johannesburg. And so everyone had this issue. And we all get there, and then our flight, I think because we were flying back to the US, was it United or something like that? I can't remember. Sure. But the issue was they did not open their check-in desk. They literally didn't even have it. Like, there was not even signs. We didn't even know where we could check in.
Yeah.
We had to wander this airport, and we had to wait 3 hours in like the front terminal area.
Like the pre-check-in
part of the airport, which, by the way, in Johannesburg is
not super
sketchy
safe.
AF. It is one of the most sketchy airports I've ever been in my life.
It is absolutely the sketchiest airport.
Like, there are people, multiple scam artists everywhere trying to get cash out of you. There's people stealing. Like, there's people pickpocketing and people taking other people's luggage.
We saw someone's luggage get stolen.
Yeah, like, so it is not a safe airport to just hang around in. Like,
it's like, great,
security.
now we have to not get robbed.
And we had to wait until 3 hours to be able to check in, and it was just a real pain. So I think like that's just another, in particular in connecting flights, if it is like a, changing terminals airport, that whole like having to wait 3 hours or however long it is to do the 3 hours.
Especially in a situation like that where like there was no other way around that time schedule.
No, that was the only option we had, and it's like we had to wait like 3 hours in a random area, and tons of people had to do the same thing.
Yeah, we saw so many people that were like in the same situation we were.
Yeah, so
that
like,
were equally lost.
So I understand some airlines, if that's like the only flight of the day leaving that airport, but maybe like have a code share, like, another check-in desk can take your, like, just check in your luggage or whatever. Yeah. Like, it should be easier than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? What else do we have?
Oh my gosh. I'm sure we have other things.
There's at least a couple more, I think.
We did that. Oh, okay. We've got one. Speaking of the flight back from South Africa.
Oh, our friend that was sitting behind us. So this is, okay, yeah, go.
No, you can go.
So this is a more all-encompassing of people being gross in public in general, but just like in particular in airports and airlines, brings out the grossness in so many people, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so before we talk about this one particular gentleman, like, why? Huh?
I was just going to say, general reminder, sometimes we have to travel, we're not feeling our best, we're a little sick, we have a cough. Wear a mask, cough into your shoulder, people.
Yeah.
Use some hand sanitizer.
I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the instant, like, 70% of people enter an airport, they just start hacking, coughing, without covering their mouth, without any kind of common, like, courtesy, right? And it's just like, I don't know what it is. And it's like, people just lose all sense of cleanliness, I think. And like just
hygiene.
Yeah, and personal space and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, in particular now, like, we've lived in we're in a post-pandemic world now where we've seen a lot of stuff, and there's still stuff going around. Yeah, wear a damn mask if you're, like, really sick. Like, we have no joke we have caught COVID probably 3 times from flying now.
We have?
You have, and then I catch it from you.
Yeah, thank you.
And some of those times we were literally wearing masks as well.
Yeah.
So like, people are just real.
But there was like one really...
Aside from that, not even sickness. This was a non-sickness.
Really, he might have been sick.
He might have been.
He sounded like he had coke lung. No, one particularly egregious offender, which was on our flight back from South Africa. Grant got these really great seats. It was at the back of the plane, and it was like only 2 seats wide. So it's like perfect, because then we don't have the aisle middle seat issue that we talked about earlier. Yeah.
We didn't have the seat reclining issue, because like it was actually like, it was a weird angle too. So you didn't actually get...
It was dope.
Yeah, it was like great. I was very proud of my like... It was. I think I even called it. I was like, oh, this is like
our secret business class.
Yeah, like the cheap business class. Until the flight back, which was a long flight. It's like, what, 12 hours? It's long. It was even more. Wasn't it like 15 or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we had the grossest individual I have ever encountered in my entire life behind us. And he was kind of making that, like, kind of sound. And that was not as bad as that sound I just made was not even as bad.
It was that, like, you know when someone,
like
you know when like
somebody's on a
70-year-old guy wants to like spit. You know how like old guys like just like to spit for some reason? Yeah, it's like that, like sucking up a spit at like and spitting out like it's like a particular sound of like a heavy, like a 7-year-old heavy smoker.
Or someone that's done a lot of cocaine and they've blown out their sinuses.
Yeah, it was that gross sound of like hocking up like phlegm or something.
Yeah.
Right?
For 15 hours. But
no
that wasn't
joke.
it.
He didn't stop.
That wasn't even...
We put headphones on and we're like tried to drown it out.
But that wasn't even the limitations of this person's grossness is because it was a long flight. There were multiple meals. He was throwing his trash
on the ground,
and there was like a gap about this wide between like my seat and the window, and so he was throwing his trash in that gap. And at one point I looked down at my backpack, which if you've not seen our other videos, my backpack is a very pale, like
light blue
color. Like stains show on it. I actually need to wash it. It's a thing. But he left like an open container of like a bean salad on the ground and an empty Coke can next to my backpack.
Yeah. This was like the grossest guy I've ever experienced.
It was disgusting. Like to the point where there was so much trash on the ground, like oozing into my area by the end of the flight, that when we landed, I apologized to the flight attendants and made it extremely clear that it was not us. It was this gentleman, and I am so sorry, because it was disgusting.
What actually made this situation even worse, I don't know if you even remember this, that guy wasn't even meant to be sitting there. They ended up swapping him or something, because he was meant to be like over there or something, and someone had an issue and they needed to move like to be close to a bathroom, or I don't know. It was some weird issue, and they like plopped him down there, and
so he wasn't even supposed to be our neighbor,
and we suffered for the worst 15 hours because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general rule of thumb once again though is stop being so like rude and gross when you're traveling. Like you need to think about other people a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I have one more thing, and then I think we can wrap this show up.
Yeah.
I have a request for people. One, just be cognizant of people around you. Be kind. Like, we're all traveling. We're all stressed. You don't know what other people are going through. Be kind to others. Be cognizant. Read the room. I have one more thing. If you are somebody where the setting on your phone where you get a notification is the flashing, please, I am begging you, turn that off in public.
Yeah.
I was not caused by that. I have now had a seizure on a plane.
Yeah.
I have been irritated by that on planes previously.
Yeah.
That can trigger a seizure in anyone at any point in time, even if they haven't had a seizure prior.
Yeah.
Please do not have that on in public spaces. I'm begging you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Especially on planes where it's dark most of the time, so it accentuates the brightness
makes it worse.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could
my gosh,
probably
this
talk
was
about this
fun.
for several. This was fun. I like this.
Yeah.
Just chatting about.
If you want to know if we're just like out at dinner.
Yeah, we're often like we often compare ourselves to the two old guys in the Muppets.
Oh my God, what are their names?
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, we're kind of like those guys. So that's like every episode of this probably won't be us like always about complaining.
Fun stuff.
We'll also do fun stuff. We're kind of keeping this pretty open.
Yeah.
We want to talk about everything sort of travel related. There's always something to talk about, whether it's like topical, like something might be newsworthy that we'll talk about, or something might just be random chit chat about travel.
If there's a topic you want to hear about, let us know in the comments.
Put it in the comments. But no, this has been really fun. I've enjoyed this first episode. I hope you all have enjoyed it as well.
I've had fun making it.
Yeah. So the plan for this is to do a weekly episode in addition to our weekly vlogs. So the vlogs are going to stay on their Friday. They're probably stay on their Friday-ish cadence. And if you just discovered us for the first time here, make sure you do check out those vlogs. We've got like a year's worth of like travel vlogs and more's coming out there. But if not, we'll have a new episode pretty much every week, we hope, I think, of this new podcast. So thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you found this episode. And make sure you subscribe so you can catch next week's episode. But yeah, thanks so much. We'll catch you next time on Travel Talk with Grant and Marisa.
Bye.
Bye.